Happy Friday. I am super happy, grateful that I am here with you today. Happy Friday. Um, Wherever you're at in the world, hope life is treating you well. I have been asked to do a couple of shorts on YouTube. Obviously, if you could like and subscribe, uh, I would be grateful for that. Also, if you ever have anything that you want to know about in trading, shoot me a message and I'll be happy to look at it and see if I could do another short. Um, what we're going to be looking at today is how to open positions. And it is very difficult to do that when the market is not open. So I have, for all you newbies, I have gold. XAUSD is the gold. And as you can see, it is up. I remember it when it was 2,800. But yeah, so it's moving up. So what we're going to do is we're going to focus on how to open a position. So the red is the sell button, okay, and it's at market right now. So basically, what does that mean? It means that whatever fill rate I can get, if I hit this button, it's going to sell, okay? If I buy this button, it's going to buy, okay? And it's going to give me the fill rate, um, the best fill rate possible. Now, what you need to be careful of is during news, high impact news, or high volatility, there could be something that's called slippage. And slippage is basically the price that you thought you were going to get in and the price that you actually got in. There's slippage, right? And that just depends on, volatility and buyers and sellers in the market, right? So I could hit this button or this button, right? But what I want to do is before I do that, I want to hit this little up arrow, okay? So I'm going to hit the up arrow and voila. So market, it actually gives me a whole slew of things, okay? And if you always want to put in a stop loss. So that's one thing that I've learned as a trader when I left corporate America. One thing about me is I'm a self-taught trader. And I had a nasty habit of not putting in a stop loss. And this could, especially in this market where NASDAQ can go 2,000 points and you have a five lot on the table and not having a stop loss. I mean, you could blow up your account really easily, right? So you always want to put in a stop loss, okay? And then you see how it's moving, based on the percent that I want to lose, correct? So I'm going to go ahead and I am going to put, let's see, I'm going to go ahead and put, yeah, that's fine. I'm going to put 100 and I'm going to put 1,500 ticks, which is basically 15 points on gold, right? And gold and NASDAQ and you indices, they're different, right? But I'm going to go ahead and do that. So what I'm saying is that if I put in this buy, okay, I'm willing to risk $15. Um, and when it gets down to that level, um, then that is what I'm willing to risk, okay? I'm going to go ahead and put it out a little bit farther because when we do take this buy, I want to show you how to move it around and I don't want to get stopped out before I have a chance to record this, okay? So, and then you have the ability, before I get off this, you have the ability to hit the trailing. Now you're like, Julie, what does trailing mean? That means, for example, if we're in a buy, it trails it trails it. So without me having to move a trailing stop loss, without me having to move the stop loss, as price goes up, my I take off less risk off the table. And it does that, it does that automatically. Oh, I just got an alert on my other, let me turn that off. Okay. So I get that automatically, or it happens automatically, right? Okay. So I can click that on, click that off, right? When price goes down, this is halted. It doesn't move. Okay. And then I can go ahead and I can take profit. So I want to say, okay, I'm going to take a profit. Okay. Now, um, I typically don't use the trail until I'm in profit. And that's when I'll turn it on. If I'm walking away for the day, I'll turn it on. But I typically don't, I let my stop loss hit my stop loss, right? So um, if I have a 50-point stop loss, if it hits, it hits, right? Um, but if I get into profit, um, within 100 points, if I'm in profit, then I'll go ahead and move my stop loss up to break even. Okay. And it just is a matter of what your preference is. Okay. So the other item, so we're going to go ahead and we are going to hit the buy button. Okay. News just happened. We should be good. So I'm going to hit the buy button and I'm going to do a market. So it just got me in. So you can see how I have this entry, this stop loss, right? And this take profit. Now let's say I want to edit this. There's a couple of ways to do that. I can press on this button where it says edit position. And do you see how this popped up? And I can change it to, and you never should move your stop loss past what you already decided to do. So I'm not going to move it to $75, to prevent it. My strategy is I am going to leave my stop loss where it is. But let's say, it's getting into profit and I want to move it to 25. I only want to lose $25 now, right? So you just type in what you want and then hit confirm. Okay. That's one way to do it. The other way to do it, well, there's actually three ways. I can edit the position again and I can slide it down. Okay. So I can slide the stop loss down. All right. And then I hit confirm. Okay. The other way to do it, you see you have positions, closed, all of this, right? Well, I have an active position. So I can share my position. I can edit my position. So I'm going to go ahead and edit my position. So do you see how that worked? I edit my position. I'm going to do it one more time. It's the little pencil. I edit the position. Okay. So of that has a way of editing your position. Okay. And you can just slide it around. I can hit trailing, which for me personally, I don't hit trailing until, but I'm going to go ahead and do it today. I don't hit trailing till it gets into profit, but I'm going to go ahead and do that. Okay. So I'm going to hit confirm. I hit the trail. I hit confirm. And it's a 1-to-1. So you notice that this little T started. And you see how my position is moving up gradually? Because I have a trailing, right? So now I'm in profit, right? I'm not in profit a lot, but it is what it is. All right. So, and then it's like, oh, I don't want the trailing anymore. You can take it off, right? And then you can hit confirm. And then the little T went away. Okay. The other items is if I want to close out a position, there's a couple of ways to do this. I can do partials. Now I only opened a 0.01 and that's the lowest lot size on gold. So if I hit this, be it would get me out of the entire position. But let's just say I had it said it was a 2 lot and I'm like, okay, well, out of a 0.02, I want to cancel out a 0.01 and then you hit close and it'll get you out of a partial. Or if I want to close it all together and I could just close it all together like so. And then it disappears. Okay. And then it's like, okay, well, where do I see all my winnings, right? Well, you just go to close positions and it'll be right there. Okay. So you can see what today's total is. You can see what this week's total is, this month's total is, right? So you can see how that how you have the ability to do that, right? You can look at your balances, what your balance was by order, but that is how you do a market where you set a market order. Now, one thing that's really cool about Tradelocker is that they have this risk. Okay. So if I want to use a 1% risk on my account, right? If I wanted to use a 1% risk, it puts me in at the amount that I can get, right? And honestly, this is a huge stop loss, right? So if I wanted to do 10 points, right? It adjusts. So let's say I want, to do 10 points. Did you see how it adjusted for the risk? So for you all that exercise proper risk management, right, which I would encourage everyone to do, my risk is $1,000 a day, right? I want to secure $2,000 a day, and my goal is $4,000 a day. So my risk is 0.5%. I want to secure 1%, and I want to target 2%. Okay. So let's just say, let me get that off. Let's just say I wanted to do a 0.5%. It will change this accordingly. Okay. Um, Another thing it will do, right? Oh, I wanted to mention this. So let's say I always have a $500 stop loss. Okay. Um, Let me change it back. Let's say I always have a $50 stop loss. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to buy it real quick to show you how. Oh, and let me buy two so I can do a partial. So I'm going to buy it. So notice I didn't have a take profit, right? I didn't put that in, but I'm going to go ahead and update this. Okay. And I want to go ahead and take a partial. See how it says 0.02? So all I have to do is do 0.01, right? And I just hit, and it just took the partial. See, it went from 0.02 to 0.01. Okay. And then if I wanted to add a take profit, I could do that. So I could slide it. See how I could slide it? Isn't that cool? I could slide it, or I can change it here and it changes. You see how I changed it here, changed it there, right? But what I wanted to show you guys, so I'm going to hit confirm. What I wanted to show you guys is let's go back to making another market order. Okay. Do you see how this is grayed out? It will not put a stop loss or take profit in again, right? You have to click the button and it remembers what you clicked the last time. So you have to go back and click this. So if you hit, let's say you hit a market order, right? You hit a market order. See, I don't have a stop loss. You have to go in. You have to go in and click that button and then hit it. Okay. And do you see how that appeared? So, anywho, that is how you put in. I'm going to go ahead and close that out. I'm going to close all these out and you just hit the little X button. Okay. So that concludes how to put in a market order. Thanks again, guys. Again, if you have any thing that you'd like me to review, I'd be happy to do that. And make sure you subscribe and like so you can get other videos that I'll be doing in the future. Oh, and it's not all about trading. I scuba dive too. So be looking for those as well. Have a great day, guys.